It's here, as they often do. Identity politics advocates and social justice warriors in Oregon just offered the rest of the world another mind-blowing example of leftist identity politics and hypocrisy. This time, as part of the clownish COVID-19 mask mandate madness. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Well, UCLA law professor Eugene Volokh reports for Reason that Lincoln County, Oregon, on June 17th issued its face covering directive. And in addition to being rife with grammatical errors, the government directive offers a valuable glimpse at absolute government overreach and pandering identity politics at the same time in the same document. Proclaims Lincoln County General Directive. All individuals in Lincoln County are required to wear face coverings during any indoor public setting or outdoor public location where a person will be within 6 feet of another individual who does not share the same household. You read that right, or at least you tried, because it's so badly written. Not only is the county government requiring people to wear face coverings, the people mandating said coverings appear disinterested in proofreading their own directives. More to the point, the geniuses in Lincoln County post this. Exceptions. Persons with health/medical conditions that preclude or are exacerbated by wearing a face covering. Children under the age of 12. Children over the age of 2 but under the age of 12 are encouraged to wear face coverings but not required to do so. Persons with disabilities that prevents them from using the face covering as described in the directive. These persons must be reasonably accommodated to allow them access to goods and services. And of course, people of color who have heightened concerns about racial profiling and harassment due to wearing their face coverings in public. People of color. What color? Multiple colors? Of course, anyone reading a headline about a government creating special face mask rules for people of color might think that the county was showing extra concern for Black Americans, that the politicians were mandating them to wear masks because Black Americans appear to be more at risk for COVID-19 harm. But that assumes a few things. First, it assumes that N95 masks are effective at stopping the Wuhan coronavirus SARS-CoV-19, which is a matter of contentious debate and appears to be a faulty assumption. It also assumes the larger, more essential point that politicians can compel people to wear what they tell them to wear, an assumption both inappropriate and base. But haven't pop media chatterboxes stressed the fact that Black Americans are at greater risk of COVID-19? Well, that itself needs expansion because it's literally impossible to know either the infection rates of COVID-19 or the mortality rates that are tied to it. The feds literally pay medical establishments more to list patients as COVID-19 positive, even if the medical workers are uncertain of such diagnoses. And COVID-19 response coordinator Deborah Birx herself told a press gathering that if a person dies with the virus, the feds encourage medical attendants to list the death as caused by the virus.
If someone dies with COVID-19, we are counting that as a COVID-19 death.
Additionally, many pop media outlets have used this alarmist narrative about Black Americans being more susceptible to COVID-19, not to distinguish those Americans in any genetic or biological manner, but to leverage the story for the purposes of pushing the economic inequality narrative. A quick search of pop media stories on the topic of African Americans more at risk for COVID-19 calls up dozens of such stories from CNN, NBC, The Washington Post, and more that use this disparity in assumed disease and mortality rates as a means to imply that more government spending on health care for Black Americans is necessary. The capper of these could be the headline from Quartz reading, "The health effects of racism are one reason Black Americans are far more likely to die of COVID-19 than whites." But are higher incidents of obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and other comorbidities really the health effects of racism? Or are they more likely connected to genetics and behavioral choices? And how is it that if racism really is a major player in these comorbidity factors, all of the trillions spent on government medical handouts since Franklin Roosevelt started the patently unconstitutional Medicare system and Lyndon Johnson started the equally immoral and unconstitutional Medicaid, and states have instituted all their child health initiatives and all the other centrally planned top-down health initiatives, why is it that they haven't changed those factors? In fact, why is it that the factors have actually increased as the government spending has increased? In fact, if government needs to play a greater part in rectifying some media-perceived racial reason for higher incidences of COVID-19 morbidity among Black Americans, if the government isn't being fair on how it spends its money, supposedly, on health care for that particular minority, how should one look at the fact that Black people comprise 2.2% of the Oregon population, yet receive 4% of all state Medicaid funds? Surely, a group of county politicians who were worried about social justice, who were fearful of a deadly pathogen attacking the most vulnerable and wanted to mandate glorious protective masks, would want a headline to read that they were commanding Black people to wear the masks, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they want that? Or is there another set of considerations at play here? Could it possibly be that the politicians in Lincoln County, Oregon, are less concerned with public health, as they call it, than they are with public appearances and identity politics? Well, you can be the judge. Just don't be caught without a mask in Lincoln County, Oregon. That is, if your skin color isn't preferred by the agents of institutional racism. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget, like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, share these with friends because, as we know, big media doesn't really appreciate some of these messages, especially from MRC-TV. And if you can go to mrctv.org, you'll find out everything that the whole team is working on. And, of course, if you want some great MRC items, including t-shirts and other awesome items, go to MRC-store. We'll see you on YouTube and in Facebook. Don't forget our page over there for MRC-TV. I'm Gardner Goldsmith.